right, this is turning into a super long timeline, but there's more because you may have noticed back in here there's something missing. And what that is the Mauryan Empire, which is pretty stable for a very long time, comes in. Let's see, when was Asoka reigned from 269 to 232 BC. So Asoka. So we have some real hits here. Zheng unifying China, and then you have Asoka unifying India. You have the Romans really coming into their own about that time. They're still very much copying the Greeks and intermingled with those crazy Etruscans. However, since they burned Carthage down in 146 to get rid of those pesky Carthaginians or Phoenicians, and then get hit back by Hannibal in 121, this area is when Rome really consolidates itself too, although they had a bit harder time because they were dealing with much more capable and also much more savage people. And so we have this area coming up to the great age of empires, the Indian Empire with a whole unified India, and then the Han Dynasty as a whole unified China, and the Great Wall of China being built, and then the Mayans. And the Mayans are starting back here, sort of displacing the Olmecs. The Toltecs came in here, but the Mayans persisted right until the Spanish conquest to the 1600s. The Romans, as you know, morphed into a Christian nation, and then the Byzantine Empire, which we'll deal with later. And China continued on. There were more dynasties, but basically China never fell until the colonial period in the 1800s. And so we have a very stable world developing here. And about 1400, the Chinese break out. They have a feeling, they have a sense, because they trade, that these great empires may be stable enough for them to come out from behind the wall. So they send an explorer, and I brought this globe here so we can discuss it. They sent an explorer, Admiral Zheng He, H-E, and he leaves Nanking. He has a 400-foot boat with 9 masts. It's a massive ship. It's the biggest ship built ever since, before. And he takes off with many men, thousands of men, and many supply ships and so on, and he sails all the way down to like Indonesia. He sails through this passage here. He sort of thinks about India, and he tries Ceylon, and then he goes to India. He sails up the coast of India, and then he goes over this way and ends up in the Arab Peninsula and sails up the Gulf of Oman, and then he ends up going around this tip and down the coast of Africa, not quite to Madagascar, and then he sails back. He kind of traces his way all the way back to China and makes a report. And the end result of that report is, it's really not worth our